Hello, everyone. I am Frank Scatoni.
I'm Ciaran Thornton, and we are
And
double.
together,
Oh, I messed it up again. Of course, we'll get it once one of these times.
and
Frank.
together we are
Double trouble.
Double Trouble.
Oh my!
We need an acting coach, I think, or a
Tell me about
director
it,
giving
yes.
us cues.
We're too busy looking for winners. That's what it is.
That's right. You know what? If that's the only thing we mess up today, that's a good thing, because I thought today's card was pretty tricky. We're going to talk about we're pre-gaming, right? Everybody knows this is the early show, all in anticipation to set up for the live show, which will be later today after race 6. I'm thinking around 6:50. I will set a studio time and tweet that out after we get done with this. But we're going to go on about 17 minutes before race 7, talk through race 7 and 8, try and make our plays in real time. But right now we're here just to do a little recap, talk about stuff in general, maybe give ourselves and our listeners out there a game plan. But before we get into that, Ciaran, just a couple of things. First of all, there's a $38,000 pick 6 carryover.
Yes.
So the races we discuss will be very important for the
especially
sequence.
with all the big payouts and carryovers yesterday. My word, I don't think 500K almost pick 5.
Yeah, the pick 5 was crazy, and it was only one horse alive in the pick 5, right? And the horse won. There could be another carry today. We'll get into that in a minute. So yesterday was the first time where the CRWs, the computer robotic wagering syndicates, were locked out of the win pool with 2 minutes to post to prevent major drastic odds drops. Ciaran, why don't you tell us a little bit about that from your experience, and maybe explain to some of the viewers out there who don't really understand what's going on in these pari-mutuel pools?
Well, these are really sophisticated gamblers, and they're hooked up to the tote board, so they get to put every possible combination there is right up until the post opens. So our tote technology's kind of outdated, so that's why you see those odds fluctuations. But it's a really bad look, and Del Mar, big credit to them. They came out and said, you know what, we're going to cut it off 2 minutes before the first post, or before they load in the gates. And what a difference it was yesterday. We hardly saw any movement, at least in the win pools. The exactas and trifectas were a whole nother game where some of the pays were very, very low. But hey, It's a start.
Right. Baby steps, right? So they're going to migrate to those pools because they can manipulate and set the prices in those pools, but they can't do that in the win market anymore. So
and that's a big advantage for the average gambler. Big advantage.
Because this is the way it used to be. If you had an 8-1, you knew you were going to get somewhere in that range. Maybe 6-1 at the lowest if somebody whacked it in late. But that was 1 or 2 people whacking it in. Now you're 8-1. Halfway around the turn, that horse is 3-1.
Yep.
And that's because thousands of bets from these syndicates, computer players, come in at the last second, and they set the market. No more. No mas. Give us players a fair chance. That's all we ask. And that's also why we love supporting these 15% player-friendly, low takeout wagers, because the computer guys really don't want to be in these pools because they're not getting the giant rebate.
Yes, and especially with the big, the $5 minimum, the $3 minimum for the late pick 3 as well. So that it's another small advantage for us when we're swimming with the sharks.
Absolutely. Just real quick, just want to give a shout out to Kelly Gredvig. She was one of my biggest supporters when I was doing best bets. She's back to watch Double Trouble with us, Ciaran. She's an awesome racetrack supporter. She's got a birthday coming up, so I'm going to wish her an early happy birthday. Hey, Kelly, thanks for watching. Spread the word. Not going to spend too much time on this because, as I was telling my buddy Pete Fornatel earlier, when he congratulated me on my 55-1 winner in the first leg of the double yesterday.
About time.
You're only as good as your last race. What have you done for me lately? Right?
Well, as you said yesterday, I was looking around in the trash can for some tickets, and you actually ruined what I was going to do today for the show, because my thing is getting shirts made. Look what I pulled out of the trash can here. This was going to be my shirt today. Well, that's out the window now that you got a 57-1 shot, so I can't even wear that to the track.
You can wear that shirt, but then you have to make me a shirt with an X through the 28-1 and a 55-1 underneath.
Well, I was busy trying to get us some sponsors yesterday. So if your company want to sponsor, we're clowns and we like making up funny shirts here.
You know what? It actually worked out really well because it allowed me to talk a little more in detail about that race. And I just, I happened to say while I was charting out the probables, okay, well, 2 other horses I'm interested in are the 6 and the 7. And I go, whoa, the 6 is 50-1. I said, you know what? You don't even have to worry about the double. Just bet this horse to win at the very least. And if you want to play a double, you can just do a $5 double to, the favorite in the next leg. But in hindsight, it would have been nice if you had a $5 double to every horse in that race, because what did it come back to, the 10-1 winner?
5,400. Yeah, $5,452 for the double.
For $5.
Even to the favorite, it was paying $2,700. And actually, you recall in the show yesterday, you gave the first part of that, and I came on and I was like, if you've got a solid opinion in that first leg, that was it. The last race yesterday historically is a long shot race. And look what happened. It was a horse over 5-1 that won it. I mean, I keep hammering that home. There's certain races that pay long shots. And, if I see it's a race like that, it's a good race to hunt for, especially if you can find something beforehand.
Yep, absolutely. No, your strategy was good. You said if you can single in that first leg, if you have someone you really, really like, and then you can afford to spread in that last race, which we thought was just wacky. I mean, both of us, our top pick was a 5-year-old first-time starter. I mean, that's how crazy that race was.
And then he didn't he go off as favorite from 6 to 1?
Yeah, he got hammered. He got hammered in the double pools. So we were like, oh, this is great. So I'm like, I'm alive to a 3-2 shot first-time starter. Obviously, the barn thinks the horse can run. Of course, you know how that works out. But anyway, that's yesterday. That's in the past. We're going to talk about today. Before we get to we're going to do the $3 pick 3 as well as the double. And I'll allow you to do this too, Ciaran, if there's anyone you like early in the card. I just want to mention a couple of horses to keep on your radar, folks. Race 1, I'm a little interested in number 1, Giggle. Broke her maiden two back, 9 furlongs. Come home time last time going a mile was above par for this level. She's fit. She'll save ground the whole way. I think that D'Amato horse is going to get hammered in the first leg. I think you get some value on number 1, Giggle. And then, as part of the pick 6 sequence, in race 5, take a look at number 6, Dea Matrona at 6-1. There's a lot of speed in this race. And this horse has a race at 8.5 furlongs where she was able to sit off the pace and power home. If she gets that same kind of trip, she wins this race. She's also a ship and win, and trainer Sam Walensky is from the East Coast. He's only had 3 starters, but one of them won and one of them finished third. So he's live. Take a look at that. Any horse on the undercard, Ciaran, that you feel is worthy of mentioning, or you want to? Well,
I liked your Giggles in the first race. I had that as my second choice in that race. Okay. Race 2, I like Daddy Big Bucks, dropping multiple classes, second career race. And when the trainer does this, he wins like at a high percentage, like it's 38%. There's a bullet work, could be claim bait, but I mean, this is Del Mar. These owners and trainers want to be seen winning here. So this is a track where I don't mind them, being flashy to get claimed. I also liked Madam Secretary in race 4. If you look at the last form, LASIK juice is back, and I think it's key. Well, off LASIK, horrible race. Back on LASIK, maybe we'll get a good race again.
All right, well, that's good. You have a selection in race 4. I have one in race 5. And then we're going to do 6, 7, and 8. That's 5 of the 6 races covered in the pick 6. So, hopefully we can help people out there structure their tickets and get something home. All right, let's look at this $3 late pick 3. Again, 15% player-friendly, low takeout. It's the Real Good Deal Stakes, 7 furlongs on the main track. I did my horse-by-horse analysis of this race on Del Mar's website, dmtc.com. You can click on the handicapping page and find out what I like or don't like about every horse in the race. I thought this was pretty tricky, Ciaran. I thought all these horses pretty much look the same. They all ran the same speed figure. They've all taken turns beating up each other. So I was going to try and find a mid-priced horse, but why don't you start us off? Because I had a really hard time with this race.
I mean, I had a hard time too. And, for the pick 3, I was like, you know what? I'm either going to be a hero or a zero. So I decided I was going to single. So I went with number 1 Style Cat, JJ for Miller. And Miller can do no wrong right now. He's winning on horses I don't think he can win. And as you know, when they get hot here, jump on their back until they don't. So, I mean, as backups, Speedy Wilson, Uh, I thought the distance was probably fade late, although knowing Phil, he'd probably beat me now because I said that. And
Well,
then
he's not
number
cheering
6,
here.
checks
Another
on the
one might
way.
win.
I mean, JJ bails, but Barrios is on, so that's probably another reason why I went with Style Cat, just because JJ left, my second, third choice to go on the one. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to spend a lot of money. I've got some bombers in the next couple of legs, so I'm going to single to get out of this leg.
Chalk, 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 chalk. Here we are again, another show, another Ciaran Chalk Fest. Yeah, you know what? I'm against both of these horses to start the pick 3. And let me tell you, I'm not saying they can't win. I like your negative on Speedy Wilson. That horse is the 5-2 morning line favorite, coming off a long layoff. I don't know. I mean, that horse, could win, but not fast, particularly faster than everybody else in the race. I think if number 1 Style Cat was drawn outside, I would like that horse a lot better. I agree with you. Peter Miller is unconscious. You have to consider all of his horses.
And him and JJ are 4 and 5. 4 or 5 they've won. So, I mean, when JJ's on, that's really the money call.
It's go time. That's right.
Yep.
JJ's won with this horse before, including 2 back at 6.5 in the Echo Eddie, beat a couple of horses in this race. But like I said, they've all taken turns beating each other. I don't like the rail at this distance. JJ is going to have to break cleanly. He's going to have to avoid lugging in at the gap, and he's going to have to be prominent. And I think other horses will be forwardly placed with him. I looked for 2 other horses. I see nothing wrong with number 6 Checks on the Way. Versatile horse, should get a good tracking trip in the clear. I know the horse has never been 7 furlongs before, but I like the way he finishes up his shorter sprint races. So I don't think 7 furlongs is going to be an issue. I know that Hernandez ends up on the rail horse, but look, you get Barrios, so that's perfectly fine with me. He has a tendency to break a little slowly. So Barrios has to get him out of the gate so he's not too far back, because as we've seen, if you are not within a few lengths of the leader turning for home, you have no shot making up ground the way this track has been playing. But, Simon Callahan was very good to me yesterday with a 55-1 shot. Once more onto the breach. I think number 6 Checks on the Way looks no worse than the favorites, in my opinion.
They're all the same. All the same. Yeah. We're just trying to find a spot and hope one of us gets out.
Yeah, and the other horse I'm going to use is number 7, Western Freedom. 1-2 in a row, looked good doing it. Had to break from the rail, 2 and 3 back. Turned into a pumpkin when trying 9 furlongs on the turf in the Snow Chief. Not his game. Toss the race. Forget all about it. He's been working perfectly fine since that May debacle. I love his stalking run style. Should suit him perfectly from this outside post. And again, he looks just like all of the other horses in this race. So I was going to go a little fuzzy there trying to get prices, but this is a race where you could also go 5 deep and still not hit it. So I like the idea of trying to be tight just because it's such a confusing race.
Well, even yesterday to start the pick 5, I went all in the first leg when I thought everyone looked the same. So, of course, the chalk won. So it's like today I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take a shot at one horse. If he doesn't do it, well, I still got the late double.
Yeah, you're just tempting the racing gods to spit in your face when you do that. You know what's going to happen.
Oh, yes.
So that's the start of the $3 late pick 3, low player friendly 15% takeout. And we're going to follow that right up with another low takeout player friendly wager, which we will discuss live in real time later today before race 7 to kick off the $5 late double. It's a Calbred maiden special weight, 8 furlongs on the lawn. The rails are at 24 feet. The morning line favorite is number 4, Big Bill, at 7-2. I expect this horse to be way shorter than that based on that last buyer speed figure. 73 is pretty good. Stretching out for the first time last time in only the horse's second start. But to be honest with you, Ciaran, I wasn't that impressed by how this horse finished up. The come home time is pretty slow. And obviously Glatt wasn't impressed because he gelds this horse.
Yeah.
Clearly he's like, something's up. We got to geld this thing.
One more try.
Granted, that was against straight maidens, and this is against Calbreds. So that's a big, big class relief. Part of me wants to beat this horse, but I will chart probables using him in case I find some value to the horses I like in the next leg. But why don't you tell us who you're keying in on here and then I'll tell you who I'm going to use.
Well, this is another long shot race. Winners 5-1 or more, 7 to 16 times, almost 50% of the time. I mean, we can see what the horses are in here. It's definitely a long shot race.
Yep.
And my top choice is the number 1, Vodka, which I'll be having a few at the track later today with you.
I'll have Bourbon if that horse wins, because that's one of my picks too. But go ahead.
We got Kent jumping on Kent DeSormo, at Del Mar. When he's hot. And I've made so much money on Kent in the last couple of races over the years that when I see him on a long shot that I really like, it's another big check in my, first starts in July, blinkers off. Yep. Trainers, this is a good move for the trainer. They gel the horse. And then this is a really small stable. And Kent's won 3 of 5 for this small stable. So when they've got a live horse, they make the call to Kent. So you know what I mean? That's another big check mark for me here. I liked your big bill, but we talked about it, unimpressed. I'm going to use it in my doubles.
No, I'm not. That's not my big bill. I was just saying that he was the favorite. I'm not. I like others, but go ahead.
I had a long shot that scratched number 11, Zagaris. Looks like it's scratched, so I had to modify a little bit just based on the long shot potential here. So how do I not use Irish Element? So I'm gonna toss in an Irish name here. You guys will laugh, but it's a long shot race. You never know.
Right to the winner's circle. Ciaran's on a name play, right to the winner's circle.
And then number 5, Bonneville. Barrios for Mullins on the stretch out from sprinting. He's got a huge ROI. So when Mullins does this, you pay attention, especially with his record. So he makes a profit doing a first-time routing as well. So we hopefully will get a good price there as well.
We're kind of similar. I have another horse I want to add, but first I want to talk about your Vodka. This is where doing the deep down dirty work pays off. I have notes on this horse from last year saying that he was a little nutty and he was a little hard to control during his races. He moved too soon. I also have a note that the connections liked him. Comes off a long layoff to make his 4-year-old debut, and what do? They gelled the horse.
Gelled him.
That's
yes,
perfect.
People don't realize that can be a big, big improvement on horses. Like when you gel them, that's a money stream that's gone, especially if it ends up being a winner. So they did it for a reason, and usually it's going to be a positive reason.
And I have a note that the horse was a little nutty. So I think that horse has a huge shot. I also love that the blinkers are coming off. They've probably been training this horse to relax now that the ultimate equipment changes in. And, Aggie Ordonez, she does a great job. Her and DeSormo had a really nice winner that you had, Ciaran, in your double, singled actually, Almond Joy earlier in the meet. And I believe you hit that double. So you're simpatico with these two. That's good. I am definitely using Vodka. My sneaky horse, however, is number 9, Mavman at 6 to 1. This horse does need a lot of improvement, but he's making his second career start, stretching out after a sprint prep back in May. He was 30 to 1 on the line, but he went off at 9 to 2. He took a lot of money. Somebody knew something, broke slowly, never had a chance, but I like that he showed late interest. And that tells me that this horse will do just fine around 2 turns. Powell is terrific in all of the relevant categories for this horse. His horses are all firing and outrunning their odds. In fact, 28 to 1 ribbons on opening day was a Leonard Powell horse.
I'm actually going to have to probably modify my late double when we look at the probables later, because the horse I was going to use, number 11, guess who the trainer was?
Was Leonard Powell. He scratched
he scratched his other horse for this one.
Yep.
We like that when they scratch the other one and you're kind of going back and forth. So that's another check mark. We're going to have to definitely look at the probables on that. I might have to add that one as a side double later.
Yeah, it's the old adage, why enter 2 when 1 will do? So I love that he scratched his other horse. And I won't get into why I like these horses, but I'll take a look at both of the Mullins runners. Number 5, Bonneville Jim, which Ciaran mentioned, and then number 8, Shapoval. This horse has had plenty of excuses, so don't sell this one too short. Almost won at this level, and then I can make excuses for his bad races. And then Ciaran told you why he liked number 5, Bonneville Jim. I'm the same way. So I'm going to look. I'm not saying I'm going to play these horses, but the horses I am going to look at in order of preference for me in the double: number 9, Mavman; number 1, Vodka; number 5, Bonneville Jim; number 8, Shapoval. And then we should chart the doubles with the favorite, number 4, Big Bill. I have a feeling we're probably not going to use the horse. But was there anyone else you wanted to mention in that conversation? Because I think we're on the same horses.
No, I think we're on the same horses, and I actually may end up using Big Bill and my Irish one because I think I'm going to get a price in the next leg on my single.
Okay.
So,
yeah. See, I think I'm going to be chalky in the next leg, even though the morning line's a little wonky. But we'll talk about it in a second. I just want to say hello to Off to the Races Media. Let's go, boys. Vodkas and bourbons all around today.
Oh, is that? Did they say they're going to be buying them? Is that it?
If we hit, we'll be buying. That's okay. But if we need to drown our sorrows, maybe they'll do us a favor and buy us a drink. But thanks for watching. Really appreciate the comment. Hey, if you're out at the racetrack today, Ciaran made a promise. Anyone come find us or take a picture of our box placard, we'll give you free box seats, 7-seater, anytime you want to come, as long as Ciaran doesn't have a horse in the race. Because then he likes
which was actually next Saturday. A little heads up, not official, but looking at the form for next week, Go Phoenix is racing next Saturday in the allowance race. So get that leg stretcher in before the Del Mar Handicap.
Perfect prep for the race he's won, what now, 3 years in a row?
Yep, going for number 4.
I love it. All right, let's look at the nightcap. Ciaran said he might have a price. Race 8. $10,000, non-winners of 3 lifetime, conditional claimer, fillies and mares, 6.5 furlongs on the main track. Oof, I thought this race was a rough operation, but I like 2 droppers in here. I don't think I'll get 5-1 and 6-1. I have no use for the morning line favorite, number 8, Stellar Cap. The horse is a tepid 4-1. I don't even think she'll go off as the favorite, but if she does, even better, because I am totally against her. I'll tell you who my 2 that I like, but I always like to hear who Ciaran likes first, just so I can jump in and criticize his picks.
Well, I thought the morning lines were, as you say, wacky. I was like, what's going on here? And I think this horse, is going to be the favorite, number 11, Buds and Suds. I think that horse, I'd be shocked if it's not 3-1 or less, is what I think. Fresh shoe riding for Knapp off a win last out, top speed, dropping in class for the money, especially here. This is watching the conditions. Last out, dropping in a little bit easier. And the condition is non-winners of 3 races. And this horse has won twice this year. The rest of these horses maybe once in the last year, if you go through and look. And then this horse is 1, 2, a second, and a third from 6 starts. So I think the top horse in the field, I'm just shocked at the 6-1 morning line. I'll take it, but I'm thinking this is one of these, like the horse we had yesterday, this will get hammered down to favoritism, I think.
I completely disagree. This horse will not be the favorite. I will tell you who the favorite will be. Buds and Suds is perfect for you. Drink those buds. The horse is perfectly fine. I'm against the horse completely because I just don't like the run style for this racetrack. I think the horse is going to be too far back. But I agree with your points. I mean, the horse is in good form. Freyshu is riding hot. Knapp wins a lot of these low-level claiming races. I'm against the horse. We'll see who's right. But before I tell you who I like, and then Ciaran, you can tell us other horses you want to look at. I just want to answer this question from Off to the Races Media. No, the gelding, not nutty. He was nutty last year before he was gelded. So he was crazy as a colt. Then they gelded him, and now they're bringing him back. We'll see how he behaves today. This is the first race as a gelding.
This will be a great paddock watch to see how he acts around the crowd. So that'll be, if he's still acting nutty, then, it didn't work.
Yeah, you're right, Ciaran. That's actually a great point. Look at that horse in the paddock. We were talking about number 1, Vodka in the previous race. I will tell you who the favorite's going to be in this race, okay? Number 3, Vegas Love. I even wrote down, should be favored. She has turf races against better that would destroy this group easily. I'm going to toss her last race when she had to break from the rail against tougher company. Still, she finished second, so it wasn't a terrible race. Look, I know the buyer figure came back really slow, and a lot of people will look at that. But I also use another platform called Optics EQ, and the Optics figure for this race was equal to the other fast races she ran. And in fact, it's a faster number than most of the others in the field. I think that buyer is deflated, okay? There's your favorite. The other horse I like who's going to take money is the other dropper, Fun to Run, number 5. Totally fits the profile of a low-level winner for this for here at Del Mar. Dropping in class, eligible for the ship and win bonus. Hess took her for $16K, running her now for $10K. Major class relief after 2 blah races against tougher animals back east. But look, you do the math. You get the ship and win bonuses. You get the purse money. You get a claim. You make a nice bet. The math adds up. With that ship and win bonuses, you can see droppers like that. Plus, This is a Hess special. He's made a meal doing this over the years, claiming and dropping, getting a win at Del Mar. I think this race is all about the 3 and the 5. I doubt they'll be their prices, but that's why we'll chart the probables. Is there anyone else you want to use?
Well, I think the 3. I mean, having had some horses with Phil, and pretty familiar with them.
Yeah, you have insight.
He's cleaning out the barn. It may win, and the fact that I'm going to talk about it right now, I probably just talked your Vegas love into the winner's circle. But KK has not been doing too well for Phil's horses, and
that's true.
The horses coming in from Los Al. If it was the real deal, it'd be training down here or at Santa Anita.
Okay, so fair enough.
I mean, it's not a foolproof thing, but that's just giving me a reason not to. Now, when I look at the probables, maybe with some of my long shots in later when we're doing the live show later today,
right,
it might make it worth my while just doing a $5 with my long shots into this one as a saver.
Right. But you make a great point, and this is astounding to me, actually. When you mentioned KK does not do well for Kimura, that is not a lie. He is 4% over the last year with 69 starts. It's not like it's 3 starts. That's a large sample size.
Now, the last 60 races, 0 for 6.
Yeah,
so we're probably talking him into the winner's circle, but
today's the day. But but no, you make Ciaran, you make a great point, because you're making a case against the horse who I believe will probably go off 3-1. And I think you're going to get a good price on your buds and suds. I'll mention another horse that we'll probably end up looking at in the double, number 4, Dancing Cat. Peter Miller speed horse. Enough said. Doesn't matter that this horse couldn't win against really cheap horses last time at Los Al. This horse has a sharp win here from last year to build upon. We all know that Peter Miller was not wasting his conditions at Los Al. Those are just prep races. Do not be surprised if this one fires. And I believe he's using his under-the-radar jock, Silvera, that nobody knows and nobody wants to bet, and he's getting good prices. So he's another one. She's another one I'll keep an eye on. Anyone else you want to just throw out there so people have the horse on their radar when they're, thinking
when
about
I started going through, I was looking at Lady Good Trouble, maybe, just nothing else really jumped out, but the trainer's 0 for 11 and 0 for 6 in sprints. And so it's one of those, I might look at the probables later and see what happens.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're pretty much, most of your action is going to go through number 11, and you're getting 6-1 on that horse, who you think deserves to be shorter. So yes. I bet your doubles are going to look really good. And that could give you the luxury of spreading in the previous race, which we thought was, a little crazy and can produce a price horse. Like you said, traditionally horses win that race at 5-1 or higher. So I like it. I like it a lot. Anything else to add? You want to congratulate me for yesterday?
I already did, kind of. I mean, a pig's a flying.
Kind of. It kills you to say congratulations. It kills you.
That was yesterday. What are you doing
sleep last night? Were you tossing and turning all night?
Yeah, 57-1. That's going to be hard for me to beat now. But I mean, we're in a good trend. I did 28-1. You went 57-1. Are we going to pull a 90-1 out of us here before the meet ends?
Why not? Without the CRWs, I guarantee you, if that was a CRW race, that horse would have gone from 57-1 in the gate to 22-1.
Yeah,
they would have normalized because the horse was 20 on the line. You know how they make the market so that they don't lose. So they would have put that horse in. It would have taken a lot of money to move that horse from 50 to 20. And you know what I mean? And I would have been really, really upset. But anyway, we'll find out later what we're going to do. But again, the point of the show is to put a couple of horses on your radar so you can start thinking about how you want to play the late pick 3 and the late double. And then Ciaran and I are going to go live in real time, and we're gonna make it happen.
See how the track's playing. It is the evening race, like we said last week. Maybe it's going to change a little tonight. We'll learn earlier. Or maybe it's going to be the same again. If you go to the front on turf, you win. Especially on the 5 furlongs.
That's been true every day of the meet, except I thought yesterday it played a lot fair. Not in 5 furlongs. Every race has been won wire to wire. In 5 furlongs, it's crazy. But, okay, that's a sprint race. That's to be expected. not to the extreme that it has been, but okay, I get that. But yesterday, actually, because I always look at the charts after and I read where the winners come from after watching the race, and two of them tracked from off the pace, and then one of them, OK Rose, was well off the pace and closed. So maybe they took your advice and did something to the course. Maybe they watered it. I don't know. I'm not a groundskeeper.
A little bit of water goes a long way down here.
Yeah, maybe they got Carl Spackler, the greenskeeper from Caddyshack, to come in, blow up a couple of gophers. Like, I mean, who knows? But we all know that it wasn't playing fairly, and I thought yesterday was more fair. So hopefully we'll see that trend continue. Any last tidbits you want to add before we end this?
No, I mean, that's it. I mean, go on your little treasure hunt, find our box seat, and just to give you a hint, Delmar already knows Ciaran's on top. So that's the only hint I'm going to give you guys.
If you're smart, I would box that exacta or weight it a certain way. I won't tell you which way. You guys can decide. I want to thank Off to the Races Media. I really appreciate this. Is the kind of engagement that we want. We want players to get on, give us your opinion, ask us questions. That's the whole point of the show. We want to have fun. You know, it's an education lesson from us. You know, sometimes maybe 1 out of 1,000 times Ciaran says something that, you know, is interesting to me and I can actually take it and use, but
rare, because he's got a hard head. Boys. He doesn't listen. It's that Italian blood in him.
I know. I could be stubborn. I could be very stubborn. But anyway, all right, Ciaran, let's get it done. We've been really good snipping out long shots. You've hit a couple of doubles. I have yet to hit a double. I'm glad I told people to bet that long shot to win yesterday, but we're on here to hit the late double. So let's make it happen today, man.
Sounds good. We'll see you all later on the show tonight. What time, Frank? 6:50?
I think it's going to be 6:50, but I'm going to tweet that out. I'll figure out the time as soon as we're done here. But after race 6, for sure, with about 17 minutes to post, I'll tweet it out. But remember, Ciaran, if you don't hit that late double,
you go home in trouble.
Don't go home in trouble. Listen to us. Thanks for watching.